Hello, good afternoon. It's 12 noon. It's your Auntie Nellie and it's Sunday service. I'm live here in the kitchen. Who's joining me? Give me a like, give me a love, give me a share. Hello there and good evening, Bronwyn Harrison. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be watching me from. Can I just say, let me apologise firstly for my hair. This is as best as it's going to be today, because the house is upside down and inside out. I am in the midst of home improvements. And what a week for me to start my home improvements last week. The stairs and landing are now finished. Well, I say finished, they're painted and it's decorated. I need to now get the carpet of my dreams. Slight mishap because I'm colourblind. I came home and it was blue and I thought it was going to be green. So now I've got the green of my dreams. If you follow me on Instagram, Antonella Uncensored, you will see the green of my dreams. Everything I'm doing in the home, I document on my Instagram. So please, please, please. What am I wearing today? Khaki. I'm wearing khaki. So this is a green, I think. I'm led to believe it definitely is a green. But yes, Abby Taylor, good afternoon. Please give my Arthur Benjamin a big snuggle and a kiss. Hello, Dee McChrystal. Good afternoon, everybody that's joining. Wow, quite a lot of us are joining. Trudy Roberts says, I love the new wall colour. So she must obviously follow me on their Instagram, Antonella Uncensored. But because this week has been quite a trying week and I've another couple of weeks of it, the kitchen is being started tomorrow. My hair is not even in the agenda of being done. So this will have to do, I've sort of like slapped it back and stuck a pin in back of it. So we'll hope for best, won't we? So good afternoon, Tracy Macaulay in Northern Ireland. Hello, Andrea Bowers. It's 7 AM in Ohio, she says. So that's why I always start any of my lives with good morning, good afternoon and good evening. Because I don't know where you may be watching me from and we're all on different time zones. But the one thing we have in common is we are all flower pots, aren't we? So welcome, welcome, welcome to my flower pots on this wet Sunday here in the Rossendale Valley, but I don't mind a bit of wetness because it's good for the nature and it's good for the plants. So yeah, clean up, thank you, I love you too. So good afternoon. I've got quite a few Sunday services to get through. And Daniel Thomas says, it's my first live in months and I miss you and I love you lots. I miss you and I love you too, Daniel Thomas. Martin Teddy Riley's joined. Good afternoon to each and every one of you in the United Kingdom. Emma Astley, congratulations. You've just won a fabulous award. And Joe Oddsocks, good evening in New Zealand. So there we go. Good morning, good afternoon and good evening wherever you may be watching me from. So I've got quite a few Sunday services to get through. And once again, as I've said, they're all anonymous. If you have a Sunday service, please write into the page. If you have a night time with Nellie, please write into the page. If you've got any product requests, write into the page with a link. Now, little Hartley Blue should not be joining us because I'm trialling a Thunder shirt on him. Once again, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see what that's about. So we're hoping to relieve Hartley's anxiety with a Thunder shirt. Because he's been licking and chewing his paws a lot lately with all the unrest in the house, and he does suffer with a little bit of anxiety, but it's hopefully going to sort his anxiety and obviously keep my vet bill down. So without further ado, shall we start? Let's get going with the first Dear Auntie Nellie of Sunday service. Emma Astley's walking around her house. Bloody hell, can you hear me? Is it not windy? Let's go. Hello, Andy El Paso Parker and Mel. Hello on this Sunday. I must get going. I can't stop saying hello. I'm like the welcoming committee. Dear Auntie Nellie, my ex-girlfriend gave birth to my baby in lockdown and I've not seen her yet. My biggest worry and my problem is I've not told my new girlfriend and my mum about the baby. Oh heck. I'm 25 and my ex is 23. We only had sex twice. Once using a condom and once without. She told me ages ago she was pregnant and I just hoped it would go away or that she was lying. I don't know now because it didn't go away. Then she sent me a photo saying, hello, we have a baby girl. There's no chance of us getting back together, but because she's a psycho. All right. And now she keeps asking me to visit her and the baby. We could, I suppose, now meet at a distance, but how do I tell my girlfriend and my mum that I'm a dad? Confused, Anonymous 25. Well then, flower pot. Sometimes when you play with fire, we do get burnt. So you can sometimes just have sex the one time and that could be the time that you make a baby. So like I say, we play with fire, sometimes we get burnt and that's what's happened to you. And that's absolutely fine. These things happen. You're 25, your ex is 23. Regardless of whether you want to get back together again, that's not the issue. The issue here is that little baby girl that's been born. Things like this, pregnancies, playing with fire, getting burnt, having a baby, they don't go away. And welcome to the real world. You become the better because you're going to need support yourself. Now, as for a relationship with your ex who's a psycho or whatever you mean, I don't really understand that bit. It's not about having a relationship with your ex in a romantic fashion. It's about having a relationship as independent parents to this little girl that's now on God's green earth. So sit mum down and tell mum exactly what's happened. Quite a few people are telling me that I've frozen. Have I unfrozen? Am I still frozen? What's happening? Is it okay? Is the broadcast interrupted? Oh, Christ on a bike. I don't know what's happening. We have got quite bad weather here. Okay, so sit mum down at kitchen table. First person of the day, Sunday service, hashtag kitchen table, to sit mum down and say, look mum, I was seeing this girl for a little bit. You don't have to say we used a condom, we didn't use a condom. That's irrelevant now. She got pregnant and she's got a baby. So I was seeing this girl, she's had a baby and I'd like to see my child. That's if you want to see your child. So you've got two things to do here. Do you want to have a relationship with this child and do you want to be an independent parent, therefore love your child, see your child, support your child? Or do you not want any of that at all? And do you just want to pay money weekly, monthly to the mum in order to bring the child up? It's up to you. But you need to discuss this with your mum. This baby is innocent. It wasn't asked to be born, but it's here now. So things like this, they don't go away. They don't. Babies don't go away. They're here forever. Ever in a day. My little girl's going to be 25 in October and she's still my baby. So they don't go away, believe me. Okay, so that's what I would suggest you do. Sit down at the kitchen table with mum, tell mum all about it, tell her what's happened and take it from there. Once you've decided what you're doing within your own close family network, then you can tell your girlfriend. So there's no point involving your girlfriend, there's no point telling your girlfriend until you've actually sat down and decided what you want to do. Now, are you absolutely certain this baby is yours? Are you certain? Because if you're not sure, then maybe you could do a DNA test. And I don't think that's an unreasonable thing to be asking your ex-partner. If you were only together a couple of times, you don't really know her, and you're saying she's a bit of a psycho. So there's lots and lots of things you can do here in order to make sure that you've set out your stall and you know where you're going. So tell mum now, if you can, if you're watching this and mum's in the house, sit her down and tell her now. But what I don't want you to do is not be sure of what you're going to do, because the last thing you want to do is come into this baby's life and leave, and come in and leave and come in. If you decide you're going to step up to the plate and be a dad to that baby, then you've got to be a dad to that baby regardless, forever. So you've got to do the nativity plays, the night feeds, the nappy changes. And your ex might want to see you both so she feels comfortable knowing that she may be able to leave the baby in your care without her. So there's lots of things here that you have to take into consideration. But the first thing you need to do is tell mum, okay? And I'm sure mum will say, well, let's get a DNA test and take it from there. Okie dokie. So good luck with that, anonymous flower pot. And even though it was a surprise that you wanted to go away, a bit of a shock, congratulations. Moving on. Dear Auntie Nellie, I have turned my life upside down. I have by getting decorators in, and there's a plasterer coming on Thursday, and My poor Olivia's having to pack all Paula's stuff and go back to London in the midst of all this. So yeah, I know how that feels. Okay, I'm 27 and now my ex is 26 and we have a 4-year-old son. We were together for 7 years and have booked our wedding. We had an okay sex life and was the best of friends. But when this new girl started at work in my office, we all went out for drinks and one thing's led to another. She threatened to tell my partner, so I left my partner and moved in with her. All we do now is argue every day. I don't even really like her. We have nothing in common except good sex. Right, I've thought about leaving her, but I will just look like a failure. I want to go home to my ex and my son, but she won't have me back. I just don't know what to do. So, you got a fiance, you plan your wedding, you've got a little boy, and then somebody came into the workplace and you thought, she looks a bit of alright. After a few fucking sherbets, you've ended up shagging her. The grass isn't greener, is it? You found out it's fucking astroturf, and that usually is 100% of the time what happens. So you've made your bed and you've thought, well, I've made my bed, I'll have to fucking lie in it. While you're lying in that bed, you're thinking, I don't even fucking like this bird. She looked alright on paper, but I've got her in bed and she's not for me. So you're not happy within your life. But what you've got to think here as well, you mustn't have been happy in your actual life before that, because otherwise your eyes wouldn't have wandered. Okay, so it's all right doing a bit of window shopping, but we don't actually go in and buy, do we? No, but you went in and bought, and now look where you are. So what you need to do is tell your now partner, listen, I were a bit hasty about moving in with you, and I thought that, you know, it were going to be absolutely fantastic, and the sex is good, and you're a nice girl. It's just that I don't really know what I want. Things weren't right with me and my ex-partner. I need to be on my own for a little bit. So you need to move out, okay? You need to move out from your current partners. Move out, either back with parents, with friends, on your own. The last thing you're going to do is move back in with your ex, with your son, because she doesn't want you. So then what you have to concentrate on here is working, making a wage, and looking after your little boy. That is your only priority that you need to concentrate on. You haven't been with this girl very long, so it's easy to say, look, I'm not happy, so therefore you can't be happy. Because what happens is, when we're not happy, we just assume that the partner's absolutely fine. There will be things that she may not be happy with. She may say, do you know what, you're absolutely right. It's not what we thought, is it? No. Because that first minute sort of like butterflies and that all newness and the honeymoon period does quite disperse quite easily. So that's what I would do. I would certainly set up your stall on your own. Tell people, say, listen, I weren't happy, I made a mistake, not for me, I need to be on my own for a little while. You're only 27 and I need to be a good dad to my little boy. And that's all you can do for now. If things in time work out with your ex-partner and you once again put a ring on a finger and go down the aisle of weddings, fantastic. But there was obviously problems there in the first place, okay? Or are you just greedy? Are you just a greedy man and thought, I can have this affair, plus I can get married? Did you think she'd never tell? It never actually plays out like that. So yeah, you've made a mistake, hold your hands up and say, what the fuck have I done? Leave her, live on your own, start again, make up your little wage, pay for your little boy, have your little boy overnights or whatever, and then just see what happens in life. But at the moment, get out this relationship. Don't even think about a relationship. You haven't got fucking time for that. Sort your shit out. And sometimes when we want our cake and we want to eat it too, we just end up with indigestion and the shits, don't we? So, moving on. Oh. Dear Auntie Nellie, I divorced my husband nearly 3 years ago after finding out he was having an affair. We have 2 kids now who are both teenagers and they live with me. He also has 2 daughters from his previous marriage who are both in their 30s and I helped to bring them up. I've always treated them as my own. I love them very much and still do. The problem is my stepdaughters no longer want a relationship with me since I divorced their dad. For some reason they blame me, even though I wasn't the one who cheated. I still send them cards and presents, but I never get a reply or a thank you. I recently found out while shopping in Tesco, I bloody love Tesco, that one of my stepdaughters is expecting her first baby. What a way to find out. I was devastated. Should I reach out again, or should I not cause any upset and just get the message? I've missed them both so much. Always, forever, your flower pot, Anonymous 56. Well, this is a tough one because you brought these girls up as your own, and these girls came along, they were there before your own girls, weren't they? So you were mum to these girls, and then dad's cheated, you've got divorced, and this really shows me that blood is thicker than water. So have they stuck by dad's side because it's their dad and you're not really anything? Or have they stuck by dad's side and they haven't really made a connection with you since, for shame? For shame. Is it because they don't quite know what to say, they feel quite guilty, they feel quite embarrassed by it? You've reached out a few times, you've got nothing back. So what I would say is, don't change your personality, don't change your behaviour here. Send a little card to your stepdaughter who's expecting her baby. Send a little card through the post saying congratulations, with a little letter in saying, hi, it's just me. Don't want to harass you or bug you. I don't want you to think that, you know, anything needs to come from this. I'm just letting you know that I'm so pleased that you're having your baby. Massive congratulations. What a lovely thing that's happening to you. Should you need any help or any support, please let me know. The door's open. And that's all you can do. Because at the end of the day, we don't know why they're not speaking to you. Do they actually know that you're the reason you divorced dad was because he had an affair? There's a lot of things going on here. If you met a single dad with two girls, for all I know, the mum could have walked out, and now they think another mum's walked out. So it's the rejection on their side, isn't it? But I certainly wouldn't stand by changing what you do. And I know it hurts us when kids don't reciprocate things. I know it does. But you'll always be the parent here, regardless of them being in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. So you are the parent here. So yes, certainly send a little something through the post and just say, look, hi, I believe you're having a baby. What wonderful news for you. You're going to be a fantastic mother. If you need anything, any love, any help, any support, if you need any babysitter in the future, you know, a bit of a cheeky congratulations, let me know. Hope you're well. And, you know, my door's always open. And that's all you can do, sweetheart. You can't do any more than that. It's really sad when families break down. It's really sad when divorce happens, regardless of why. And people don't quite know their place anymore. They may feel greatly aggrieved that, you know, you've left dad and they no longer have this happy family. But, you know, until you can actually get some sort of contact, you're never going to get that conversation, you're never going to get that closure. I'd like to think they do know that, and I'd like to think that they're not in your life because of shame, embarrassment, and they don't really know what to say, they feel awful, rather than blood is thicker than water. Because even though it's the dad, you've done a hell of a lot for them. So I wish you the best of luck there, but please, please, please do reach out. Do reach out. Not knocking on doors, sending flowers and imposing yourself and darkening the doorstep, but certainly reach out and say, I've heard, I think it's fabulous, massive congratulations. If you need anything, let me know. And that's it, and that's all you can do. If you get no other sort of commitment back in life, thank you for the congratulations, I hope you're okay. That's all you can do. Keep on with the birthday cards. You don't have to send grand gestures of gifts, but keep on doing that, because that's you as a person, and you shouldn't have to change the way you are with them, because that's how you are. So don't change your behaviour in any way. Okay. Dear Auntie Nellie, I live with my parents and brother and love them so much. They've done so much for me, I wouldn't know what I'd do without them. But I'm struggling really bad with obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, where I feel I have to check things multiple times to alleviate my anxiety. My family are getting really annoyed because I go around the house turning off all the plugs. The worst part is the intrusive thoughts. If my families use words such as idiot, stupid or pathetic, disgusting, fat or lazy in general conversation, I can't deal with it, as I think they're aiming these words at me. When they start saying things like that, it usually ends up with a big argument. And I know that it's all in my head, but they don't seem to understand this. I just don't know what to do anymore. Please help. Anonymous 23. OCD. Can I just say, it's different for everybody. It's not all about keeping a bottle of bleach in your hands and bleaching everything. It's not always about washing your hands 100 times a day. OCD affects people in all kinds of different ways, and there's a reason why they're doing this. So I think it really is here, firstly and mostly, about getting help from your general practitioner. So ringing your doctor, ringing your nurse and explaining what's happening. Taking a family member with you to this appointment and educating your family. So when we live with people who are a little bit different to what they have different behaviours to us, such as they have to touch a door handle 5 times, they have to wash their hands 30 times, whatever it may be, as long as your family is aware of it and they're educated on this, they can help you. Alicia Louise Sanders, they can help you. But if people don't know exactly why you're doing these things or exactly what they can do to support you, it's going to cause a lot of animosity, a lot of bitterness, a lot of resentment. So you're going around switching the plugs off because I have to do that because then this won't happen or that won't happen. If they don't understand that, they just think you're being a bit of a dick. Oh, he's turned all fucking plugs off. That's why nothing's charging up. So it's about education here. And I think we need to educate ourselves about things like that, especially when we lived in shared communities and we've got people around us who have different behaviours to us. So please, please, please see your doctor sooner rather than later. Don't be ashamed, don't be embarrassed. Go and tell them exactly what you're doing. And believe me, you're not on your own. You're not the first, you won't be the last. Once you've done that and you've took a family member with you, it's about all your family then understanding and supporting and being educated about it. So it might mean that maybe you've took a photograph in that morning of all the plug sockets off that are in your area, maybe coming to some sort of compromise. And then if you're out and about and you panic and you think, shit, I've left all the plugs on. Look at the last photo you took, it'll have that date on it, it'll have that time. No, actually, I switched them off. Everything's fine, that bad thing's not going to happen. So there's lots of different steps that you can do to self-help initially, but with the help of your doctor, the help of your family, the help of a therapist, you will start to combat the issues that are being caused daily in your life. And it is about educating. It's about living with people with OCD, with autism, people who are on the spectrum and have not yet been diagnosed. And if people around you understand or can, oh, they're doing this because maybe you're doing the plugs even more and mum can think, oh, his anxiety is really bad today. I've noticed that now, rather than him switching all fucking plugs off. He's a dick, my phone hasn't charged and I've got to leave the house. It's about educating and it's about family then being aware of why and what. You're having a good day, you're having a bad day. And when you're having a good day, it's about them also saying, you're doing really good today. Or about them saying, you're not so good today, are you, pal? Is there anything I can do to help? So don't feel like you're doing this on your own. You shouldn't have to do this on your own. Please, please get the love and support of your family. As for the intrusive thoughts, explain to them. It's not a bad thing when you say, are you saying I'm fat? No, we were just saying in conversation. Ask, rather than blow up, rather than sit there ruminating and thinking it's all aimed personally against you, no. Ask. So when they're saying, oh, it's bloody pathetic, and you're thinking, I'm pathetic, just say, who's pathetic? Involve yourself in the conversation. Make it clear to yourself in your own mind what people are actually talking about. And that should alleviate some of your anxiety. Don't sit there. Sometimes when we think people are talking about us, we remain quiet and we end up getting more anxiety until, like you say, a big argument happens. So ask the questions. Who's fat? Who's disgusting? Who's pathetic? Whatever it was that you put in your message. And concentrate on what they say back to you. Because like you said, you know it's all in your head. So rather than sticking in your head, get the words out and conversate with them and ask them. But number one, go and see your doctor, your general practitioner, your nurse. Tell them what's happening and take a family member with you so that they're with you on the road to supporting you, loving you and being educated. There they can share it with the household and everybody knows what bloody page they're on, okay? And I think that's certainly to be said with a lot of things like that, because I have OCD. I don't go around checking plugs. I will panic that I've left my straighteners on. Absolutely. It happens to me a lot. So I take a photo of my straighteners, as daft as it sounds. My phone photo album's quite full of photos of my straighteners switched off. But I'll think, shit, I've left my straighteners on. Calm down. I look at my phone, I look at the photo and I think, that was this morning, that's the date, that's the time, they're off. They're not on. They're not on. They're off. That settles my anxiety and I move on. My OCD is I don't like anything untidy, I don't like anything out of place, and I like things absolutely spotless. I could not go to bed at night with a cup in the sink. I just couldn't. I could not get out of my bed in the morning without making it ready for night again. That's just how I am. But these things don't impinge on my daily lifestyle. They don't stop me having relationships, they don't stop me going to work, they don't stop social events, they don't stop anything, so they're okay because I'm managing them. When we have things that are not manageable, that's when we need to. That's when we need to speak to professionals. We need to speak to them and we need to tell them that we're struggling, because nobody should have to struggle. There's lots of different coping mechanisms out there, but number one, sweetheart, would be to involve your family and get them educated. Okay? Dear Auntie Nellie, I met this really great guy and I think the relationship is heading towards marriage in the future. I'm so happy and we're in love, but I'm finding it really hard to be honest with him about my family because I'm ashamed. My brother, who passed away, was arrested. Oh, sweetheart. Oh, my brother has passed away. He was arrested and put on the sex offenders register some years ago for an assault on a child. He died in prison. It was a really shitty time for us and we got our windows put through, eggs thrown at us in the street, abuse all the time, and it got that bad we moved. Do you know, I watch all these paedophile hunter groups on Facebook. I'm actually a bit obsessed with them. And I always wonder what happens to the families, because it's not the family's fault, is it? But maybe there are people out there who are going to shout, "Oi, your son's a fucking pedo." And nobody wants a pedo living on the street, do they? Absolutely not. But anyway, let's moving on. After moving, we all buried it and tried to move on together without him. Even now, it's not something we've ever talked about as a family. His name is never mentioned. It's as if he never existed. I never told my partner about him because I'm worried that if I do tell him this big secret, he may not want to start a life with me. But how can I start a life with somebody when I have this big secret? Can you help? Anonymous 31. Listen, this guy that you're with, your future's looking bright, you're looking towards marriage. You've got to be honest and open. You've got to go into your life together with a blank canvas. We've all got a few skeletons in our closet. Do they really matter? Do we have to be so open and honest? Yes. Yes. Take me. Good or bad. This isn't something you've done bad. This is not something that reflects on your personality. I am so sorry that you've had this happen to you, but you won't be the only one who's had somebody in prison. You won't be the only one who's had somebody they know on a sex offenders register, and you won't be the only one whose brother committed suicide in prison. I think there's a lot fucking going on here that you're carrying on your shoulders. Your head must feel like it's ready to burst. And everything, I always believe this because my mum told me this years ago and it's true. Everything always does come out in the wash. And it might come out in 10 years' time, 10 months' time, 100 years' time. And he may say to you, "Why didn't you tell me?" And you may say, "Well, because I were a bit ashamed." And he may say, "I get that. Yeah, all right, well, never mind." But with your partner, when you sat there with your partner, doors closed, it's just you two, you should be able to tell him absolutely anything. At the end of the day, your brother's passed away, he was a sex offender, whatever. But he was your brother. And sometimes the heart can't stop loving what the heart knows it loved. So you've got someone who's impartial. Speak to him, tell him the truth, tell him exactly what happened. You've got somebody that you can speak to about it, because it doesn't sound to me like you can go to your family about it. Speak to him. Tell him, I didn't want to tell you because I'm frightened that you might not want to marry me, but I'm ashamed about it and I don't know why I've got this shame, because it wasn't me that did it, but it's my family name and I need you to know. And I also need you to know that I miss my brother. I miss the brother that I knew before all that happened. You're probably grieving in a really angry way. So telling your partner is the best thing to do now, and I say sooner rather than later. And once you've told him, the relief you will feel, because that is such a fucking lot to handle on one person. Can't go to mum, can't go to dad, can't go to your sister, you're not even living where you were. Start by saying, we had to move in 2003, and I'll tell you why. I had a brother. Oh really? I didn't? Yeah, let me tell you, I've got to tell you this, because he will respect your honesty. He will respect the fact that you want no secrets in your marriage, in your relationship. I'd respect that. I'd 100% champion that. So please, please, please tell him. You don't have to tell everybody. You don't have to put it on Facebook. But please tell the man of your dreams, the man that you're thinking of having the rest of your life with. And if ever you're having a shitty day or you're missing your brother, because even though what he did doesn't mean to say that you didn't know him before that, at least he'll know why. Just tell him, just be honest, just be open. Tell him the good, tell him the bad. It really is as simple as that, and it's such a difficult topic. But you don't have to talk about the offence that he committed. You don't have to talk about him being on the register. You'd say it. He committed an assault on a child, he ended up on the sex register. That's all you need to say. You don't have to say who the child was, where it happened, what you did, the court. You just have to tell him that you had a brother, this is what happened, you moved away, he passed away, and I'm just telling you because, God forbid, it comes out in wash. I want you to hear it from me and not from the newspapers, case revisited, Britain's fucking darkest taboos. Whatever it is, tell him and get it out in the open. And I really do think, hand on heart, that he will appreciate your honesty, because I certainly would. It's awful. It's awful. Okie dokie, dear Auntie Nellie, I am now a grandma. Congratulations. Cold espresso. No, I love iced coffee with no milk. The milk-free one, because I don't drink milk. But that a cold espresso, no. I'm now a grandma for the first time. Congratulations. I am so in love with my grandson. The problem is my daughter won't let me have him at my house. She says that my house is not as clean as hers, and because I've got a big dog, she doesn't want the baby covered in dog hair. I explained that I will clean properly before he comes, and it will only wipe off anyway. I just feel so pushed out and look really forward to the day I would have my very own grandchild overnight round here to love and spoil. I really do think she's being unreasonable, but I also don't want to fall out with her and risk not seeing him at all. What can I do? She has said that the daughter will let her go round at any time. Anonymous 62. Look, as a new mum, a young mum, our first time with our babies, we really do try our best not to kill them. Okay, so we make sure the bottles are sterilised, the mattress is verified and certified. We make sure that the cold, if the warm, we make sure we cool them down. We check the temperature. We look at the stools. We make sure how many times they're pissing. We give them the right water. You know, we've got Calpol strapped to us. Whatever it is, as a new mum, you're absolutely neurotic about killing your child. So the fact that she's not quite sure about this child being out of her vision in your care is a massive thing. It's a massive risk for any first-time parent. So for the moment, visit the baby at her house. Okay, visit baby at her house. Get to know him that way so that he knows who grandma is. That when he sees you and she says, it's Nana, he smiles for you, he loves you. Have that relationship at her house. Okay. Once that relationship starts building up and she starts to see how you are with him, maybe start inviting her and the child round every now and again. So he gets used to new surroundings with grandma. So he'll already know you, then he'll get used to new surroundings with grandma. By the time this is happening and you show her that The big dog really isn't an issue with the baby. In fact, he'd probably be a fantastic protector, as most dogs are. And she remembers that you brought her up to this age and you didn't kill her. So chances are of you killing her child are slim to none. She'll feel a little bit calmer. And as the baby's getting that little bit older, she'll be ringing you and saying, Mum, will you fucking have him tonight? He's been up all night. My house is a mess. I've not even washed my hair in 3 days. Believe me, it's just the start of being a new mum. New mum nerves of her worrying at all the time of, I mustn't kill this baby. And because she mustn't kill this baby, she certainly mustn't let anybody else kill the baby. So we do use excuses like your house isn't clean enough, or your dog's too big, or I don't want dog hair on him. They're just excuses, sweetheart, for the time being. As she settles into mum life and she realises that it's okay to pick a dummy off floor, give it a suck and put it back in his gob and he don't die, you'll realise that her nerves will come down, her anxiety will decrease, and then she'll be more than happy to say, go and see Grandma, I've packed his bag, here he is, goodbye. She won't be interested about the dog, she won't be interested about how clean the house is, she'll be wanting to go home, have a really nice hot bath, wash her hair, get in bed and get some kip. So it's just for the immediate, I promise you. You will get that life with your grandson, absolutely, but don't push it for now. She's enough to worry about, she's enough. And she's not saying you can't go around, so go around as much as you want, get to know your grandson, but at her house, okay? Because being a new mum, I've been a new mum. I remember the midwife putting Olivia in that little glass cot thing at the side of your bed in hospital and then going, and I thought, where the fuck's she going? And I had this little baby all swaddled up at the side of me. And I just thought, now what? Now what? And I thought, shit, what do I do now? And I remember just staring at her. And she was making all these little noises. And I thought, well, do I feed her now? Is it nappy time? It's really, really, really worrying as a new mum, as a first mum, when you're left with this baby. And I think majority of mums just think, how am I not going to kill it? I must try not to kill it. It's worrying. So, you know, remember back to when you were a first mum. And it is, you have all these weird and wonderful concerns that have never been a concern before. Okie dokie, dear Auntie Nellie. I'm 48 and have been seeing a great man in his early 50s for 18 months. We have a fantastic relationship. The sex is good. We laugh a lot. We go on holidays. He's great with my family and friends. Thing is, I usually have to stay at his house at weekends because it's quieter. My house is always full. But his house is full of all his dead wife's belongings. Late wife, I think she means. She died 12 years ago. I understand he wants to keep things that hold special memories, but the house is almost a shrine. He even has her clothes still in the wardrobe. I feel like I'm in another woman's home. I've asked him if he'd like me to help him sort the house out a bit, to pack away some of her things. But although he says yes, when it comes down to it, he always has an excuse. Do I get my point and feelings across without sounding selfish or insensitive? How do I do this? Any help would be much appreciated. I watch all your shows, so I will get the answer on the show. Love from a faithful flower pot. So his wife passed away 12 years ago, and I'm going to say he hasn't moved on, but he has kind of moved on because he's been in a relationship with you for the past 3 years, which is fabulous, and you're having a great time. You go on holiday, your sex life's good, you get on really well, you go out for meals, and your family and friends love him. 12 years ago, his lovely wife passed away, and we mustn't ever forget that. Number one, she's no threat to you. She's absolutely no threat to you because she's dead, okay? Number two, he still loves her. He didn't fall out of love with her. She died. So he now loves her in a complete different way that he loved her when she was here. So it's not about moving things, making room in the wardrobe, putting things in drawers, in boxes, and getting rid of them memories. We all have that special something that may not mean anything to anybody, but it means the world to us. Because, I mean, look, that hat there means fuck all to anyone else, but that was my dad's hat. And every time I'm stood at kitchen sink having a wash up, I think of my dad because I see the hat. I talk to the hat, talk to my dad. You know, so it's about letting go in a way that feels comfortable. There's no right way to grieve. There's no right way to get rid of things. There's no time in your life where you say, right, they've been dead a year now, clear out all the stuff. They've been dead 5 years, or been dead 12 years, it's weird, it's got stuff. No, there's no weirdness to this. It's different for everybody. But I certainly would revisit the conversation and say, look, listen, Malcolm, let's pretend it's called Malcolm. Listen, Malcolm, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, thanks, Sheila. Well, listen, I come and stop at your house a lot, and we've talked about Sheila's stuff, and I'm so sad that she passed. You know, I almost wish I could have met her. She sounds like a wonderful woman. Ask him questions about her. Let him know that you're okay with her memory being alive. You're okay to discuss things. It's okay if he's got a picture of her and him on the wedding day on mantelpiece. It's okay. She's no threat to you. But as for things, they need to start being wrapped up. So it's about saying, listen, when I spend time here, you know, I love the fact that Sheila's around and that you had this happy marriage and you were so in love, and I'm so sorry that she got taken away from us too soon. But come on, every time I say let's start packing a few things up, you say yeah you will, and then you make an excuse. If you're not ready to do that, I'll stop asking. But you've got to understand, it makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable when I go and hang a jumper up in wardrobe and I'm having to move her stuff to try and find a space. So it's about that sensitivity, that empathy, understanding how he is and knowing that it's not going to be done overnight. It's about maybe saying, why don't we look through that drawer of Sheila's today? Just that one drawer, and let's have a look and see. There might be something in it you want. It might be a drawer of tat. Who knows? So it's about treading softly. Slowly, slowly catch your monkey here. And he might turn around and say, no, I don't want her stuff to go. And if he doesn't want her stuff to leave the home, who are you to say it has to? That's when you then need to make your decision of, I feel uncomfortable coming round then, Malcolm. So I'll see you in a restaurant. I'll see you on holiday, but I won't be staying over. And, you know, it is about life is for the living, but we certainly have to do that as sensitively as possible. So, you know, talk about his ex-wife, find out things about her, say, what was her signature dish? Did she like drinking wine? Would she have come here on holiday? So he knows that you're not doing it in malice, you're not doing it because you want to erase her. Let him know that he can talk to you all day about it, because she's no threat to you at all. She's no longer here. And he'll fall in love with you that little bit more because you're so willing to take on his memory, his love, and he'll love you for that, if that makes sense. So if you are watching this Sunday service, there's no right time at all. It's been 12 years, it's been 5 years. He'll do it when he's ready. And he may never be ready, and you have to prepare yourself for that. He may never be ready. Just because he looks like he's moved on and he's having fun and you're having sex and you're going on holiday doesn't mean to say he's ready to say goodbye to that part of his life. But it's about sensitively approaching that subject and doing it with him and loving him and supporting him as best you can. Okay? And things don't have to be like a shrine to her, but you can certainly say, I really don't mind you having your pictures around and talking about her, telling me about her, if you feel it's okay to do so and it doesn't cause you upset. So it's about supporting him that way. As for emptying the wardrobes, the drawers, I don't think you're at that stage yet. And when you do get to that stage, it'll be because he's ready to do that, not because he's been told to do so. No matter how much love and support you've got, sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you just physically can't, okay? My dad's been passed away 8 years now. And 8 years is a long time, isn't it? If somebody said to me it's going to take 8 years to decorate your house, I'd have a nervous breakdown. 8 years is a long time. But there can be days, afternoons, evenings, I could be out walking the dog where it'll just hit me like a fucking ton of bricks and knock me on my ass for no reason at all. No reason at all. There'll be no reason. There won't have been a film, a song, a memory. It'll just come from nowhere. So everybody grieves in different ways, and this is still him grieving as part of losing his wife. And all you can do is love him, keep her memory alive by talking about her. And I think the more you talk about her and the more you show him that it's okay, that you're happy to love and support him in that grief, I think you'll find things subside a little bit easier. And he may even say, right, will you just have a look through this wardrobe with me? I don't want to get rid of everything because that were a favourite cardigan, so I'd like to keep that. But these things, you know, that I've no use for him now. So let him, open the gate for him to know that it's easily accessible and you're there to help him. So flower pots, that's been today's Sunday service. Have you enjoyed it? Give me a like, give me a love, give me a share. I've enjoyed it. I've had some really good questions there because everything comes through anonymously. I don't know what I'm going to read before I read them out. And when I read them out, then sometimes I think, where's this going? But I think we've had a good mix today. We've had a really good bunch. And if you are anonymous flower pots who wrote in and had your dear Auntie Nella's wrote out today, I wish you nothing, all of you, but lots of love, because a problem shared is usually a problem solved, and I hope you've gone away with a heart that's not as heavy and you're able to sort of sort out these problems. You've got a little bit of insight, impartial advice, people on here who like to comment, my other flower pots like to comment, sometimes it's happened to them, sometimes they say, oh no, I'd do it this way, and you're reading through the comments and you're getting a little bit of clarity. So when we've got problems and we feel like the world is on our shoulders and we can't see straight, it is good to go to somebody and talk it through. So always talk, always talk. And you know, you're not on your own, and it doesn't matter of gender, age, it doesn't matter what the problem is. Believe me, you won't be the fucking first and you will not be the last. So good luck with that, and thank you flower pots once again for joining me on today's Sunday service. I have no new reviews in the pipeline as we speak, because if you follow me on Instagram and Auntie Nella Uncensored, you will see that well, we're in absolute shit tip here at the minute, and Olivia's going back to that there London on Friday. She's going back living in London. She's got a 2-bedroom flat with a little garden, and she's moving in with her boyfriend. So I'm losing my daughter, actually losing her. It's like she's going getting married. They don't have bottom drawers anymore. When I got married in 1993, we had a bottom drawer, and many of my flower pots my age and older will know. So I keep saying to her, what do you want? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, what can I buy you as a moving in present? Because I can't give you a wedding because you're going living over at Brush with a boy. You're not leaving house in a white wedding dress. So yeah, so that's the next chapter in Olivia's life. So yeah, so it's all exciting, and I now have the green staircase of my dreams, and I'm gonna have the living room of my dreams when the plaster arrives on Thursday. It's not here yet because I've got to have it all skimmed. And then tomorrow they're starting on the kitchen. And for anybody who was asking, yes it is, Roy, my next door neighbour, tall Roy, is doing all my painting and decorating. And when it's all finished, I'll be able to showcase it on my Instagram until I'm uncensored. But I'm going to go now and make sure that Hartley's all right because he's wearing his new Thunder shirt. So enjoy your Sunday, whatever roast you may be having. Have a great time, and once again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and I'll see you all soon. Take care.